Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello. It is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. And it is Mac Gaming Thursday, and we are playing the Disco Elysium. And how are you? How are you doing? What's new and exciting? Also, I need to pop out the chat and put it. It's really ridiculous because I pop out the chat and I keep it actually on the exact same monitor. It's just that right now it's on the far end of the monitor and I don't like it, so I want it on the near end of the monitor so I don't have to turn my head as far, and it looks a bit more subtle when I'm looking at chat, unlike this, which is not subtle at all. Werewolf Feels, how are you? How are you doing? Also Krellin, also everybody. Also, that is way too big. Woo! Boom. There. Everything is now set up the way I want it. How are you doing? So, what's going on? How is it? I am here hanging out with you, and it feels like it's been a long time since I've seen you all, but it hasn't been. It's just been since Sunday, so it's really not been that long, but it's been a long week. How about you all? Has it been, like, how's your week been going? I hope it's, been all right. Thank you, Krellin, for letting me know the title was the wrong title. It is fixed. Werewolf says, I'm all right, just tired. Burying a distant family member and a couple costs are driving me bananas. I get that. Krellin says, it's also been months since I had regular Thursday, so it probably still feels weird. Yeah, I think that's true. Also, I'm getting used to this semester's schedule, which is wild. I made a choice. I have to do 2 office hours a week, and last semester I did like 4 or 5, and I had like a big chunk of time. I just like put it in there. Um, and everything has to do with like what your schedule is like where they've put you in the schedule. So, for example, I'm teaching Monday, Wednesdays this week. And I think my Monday, Wednesday, so I think last semester I was teaching Monday, Wednesday, Thursday with faculty meetings on Fridays. And I think that my lecture course was at the 1:30 block. So what I would do is I would have my class from 1:30 to 2:45, and then I would have office hours from like 3 to 6 or 7. So I had like a good like extra chunk of time for folks just in case they needed it. And I was like, that's great. And this semester they put me at the 3 o'clock, the 3 to 4:15 block, but we also have faculty meetings from noon to 1:15. So I've got this like chunk of time in between classes, the 1:30 to 2:45 block. So I was like, oh, I'll just have those 2 blocks, Monday, Wednesdays, from 1:30 to 2:45 be my office hours, and I'll give them like 2.5 hours. That's pretty good. Which I've done. It's just that now I've got students who say things like, I have class in your block. Can we meet some other time? How about Tuesday? How about Friday? How about Saturday night? So now I'm actually having to schedule more office hours because I didn't. Yeah, so I live and learn. Next time I will not schedule my office hours split in that way. If I do, I've got to just make sure it doesn't overlap too much. It's just that if I wanted to do a good 3 hours, otherwise it would have to been like, if I didn't want to do it on a Tuesday or Thursday, which I generally don't, I generally do not want to have my office hours on a different day than I have my class, because if I come into the office, they keep me forever, and I kind of need time out of the office to do my writing. You know how it is. Anyway, that's how it is. Critical Role is super long tonight. They're doing a QA stream before the game stream tonight, too. Okay, so let's see how close to 9 we can leave so we can head over to Critical Role. Also, I have a surprise faculty meeting tomorrow morning, so I don't think I am going to be able to watch all 8 hours, because I feel like if I watched all 8 hours, that would put it at 6 in the morning for me. So I probably won't. I'll probably hit the first half and then go to sleep and then watch the second half later. But nonetheless, come and hang out with me anyway. Hello, Hawkeye. How are you? It's good to see you. Howdy. Another meeting. Time is managing. Time is managing. madness takes control. But listen closely, not for very much longer. I've got to keep control. I remember efficient meetings, drinking, those moments when, I'm just saying, our faculty are just, well, also, just for the record, I'm also technically part of three different faculties. So I've got three different faculty. I've got a department and two programs that I have to go to faculty meetings for. So I think I'm probably doing too much, but I don't think, that's it. How's it going? How are you feeling? The whole stream and just stay up for the meeting, then go to sleep after it. Now, Trooper, have you considered a nap? Um, mm, People love naps. I don't generally love naps. I have had to resort to taking them sometimes, but I generally when I'm up, I'm kind of up. Like if I'm awake and I'm tired, something is very wrong in my life. That means I'm underslept to such a degree that it should be disturbing. Generally speaking, if I'm up, I'm up. Even if I'm like somewhat sleep deprived, up and at 'em, right? So I don't tend to nap, but I'll tell you what, this last year or so, I've had to get a couple naps in there. Vulpes says, or watch one third of Critical Role this week, then watch one third next week, and then the week after. So fill the space they aren't showing. Wait, what are they doing after this? Are they gonna go dark for some Thursdays? Brellan says, I would say, Trooper, have you considered sabbatical? But I know you actually have. I'm just waiting on the word. Actually, today's what, the 6th? I think we have some deadlines tomorrow. We've got some deadlines tomorrow that we have to go and deal with. So I'll be I'll be multitasking during Critical Role. Putting together a couple of things and checking out, there's stuff that we all have to do because that's how life is, right? Hey, Rissa. Um, Krell says, no, they're doing a mini series with Brennan Lee Mulligan, Jimmy again after this. Oh, interesting. Do you know what system they're doing and or what setting they're doing? What do you know about this miniseries? And Rissa, one of my most awesome mods, says, and he only fills his sabbaticals with streaming and claims of book writing. Well, no, actually, I did a lot of research in book writing at my last sabbatical. I just have more to do. Um, and also, there was some extenuating circumstances that made some stuff a bit difficult, COVID and all that. But I'm looking forward to it. And a lot of streaming. Certainly. Well, I did, but it's one of those things where if I'm not teaching, then I can, and doing lots of meetings, then I can do a little extra streaming. And I hope that I can get some extra streaming done during this sabbatical, which would be really nice. But I'm looking forward to being somewhere not during COVID, getting some really good work on my book done. I want my goal for the sabbatical is to the get my book proposal written and submitted to a press. And I would love to get basically it drafted. If I could get a complete draft of the book, then I would feel really good about that. But I really also should get an article done in addition. That's probably too ambitious, but I probably should also get an article done. But we will see. We will see how it goes. Uh, let's see. Uh, it's a 4-part, presumably D&D, set in Exandria right after the end of the Cataclysm. Is that what they call it? The thing, the Cataclysm? There's a word for it. I can't remember. Is it the Cataclysm? No, it's oh, I can't remember now. Where all the magic died and the gods left says, yeah, no, it's, I don't think it is a Cataclysm. Oh, what is it called now? Somebody knows who's not me. I'm just saying the sleep is not usually where you put the focus. Oh, I got decent sleep when I was on sabbatical. Look, what I'm trying to say is when I'm not teaching, I tend to eat well and also sleep well. I'm just going to note that my life during summer, when I'm not teaching, I tend to get all my calories in and I also tend to actually sleep. Just noting that. So I'm actually pretty decent when I'm not teaching. A friend of mine is using the lull of the winter to be on a self-imposed writer's retreat. They say it's helping so far. Yeah, I tend to need... well, there are discussions to have. Calamity! That's what it is, the calamity. Yes. By the way, I need my foot pedal. Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane. So, how is everybody doing? Rissa, how are you? Hold on a second. Okay. I have a foot pedal, and I just wanted to get it because we might need it. You know, there might be something dramatic that happens, and then we'll need it. I'd have to find out. And the divergence is the gods sealing off Exandria from their direct physical influence. Hey, Valtiel, how are you? Oh, yes. I'm looking forward. I hope I get the sabbatical, and then and then I hope I can sort of. My whole goal is to work out being in a place where they cannot get me to come to meetings. This is my goal. Get to a place where they cannot get me to come to meetings, and then write like the Dickens, which I think it should actually be pretty doable. Yeah. And I've got some other things I want to do during the sabbatical. I want to, there's a lot of, little things that I want to get done that I think would be great. I've got some certifications I want to finish. And so I'm hoping I can get all of that finished. And that would be great. And we're actually going to start the game. So this next mini-series is immediately after the Divergence. I'd have to search a bit to find out what they're naming it, which might be Divergence. Oh, so many hours made proper. So many nouns made proper. It's a touch confuddling. Yeah, so if I remember correctly, we are here. By the way, our morale is not so great, but we are here because we wanted to. All right, so we found out some very disturbing things about these corpo mercenaries, which we knew. They're not good people, but we have people to talk to. However, I also have some tests that I've not completed, but that are up, and I want to make those tests before I have a lot of skill points to level up, and I want to be efficient. Is really what we're talking about.
Good. What can I help you with?
Oh, Exandria Unlimited Divergence. Yeah, we did. We had some volition. We also had some composure. Oh wait, I just realized I don't know if I'm wearing my composure clothes. Wait. Okay, hold on. Let me just see where we're at. I think, are we wearing what we need to wear? Are we? What are we doing? We have, we currently have this Arno Van Eck thing going on, which means we can see, I guess, all of the, Arno Van Eck gig posters in the world. By the way, I feel like we should probably ditch this one at some point in time because, it's good and all, but I feel like this seems like a temporary one. Once we get those posters, we can probably ditch it and then put a new one on. That said, we were looking for some tasks, and one of the things we wanted was we wanted to talk with Joyce. We're not at composure yet, although we can probably talk to him. Where Joyce, volition. It's volition with Joyce that we need to deal with. Thank you very much, everybody. And we want to try this before we level up again. Do we have any other? Okay, volition. And I believe we already put on our volition clothes, right? My internet Windows is being stuttery tonight. Oh no. Hopefully it will smooth out on its own. Where are you hoping to be in sabbatical? If I get sabbatical, it will be for the fall semester, which means as soon as the spring ends, I will go away and I will not come back until the fall semester is over. So yeah, I'll be looking at end of May. Let's see. Grades are due on the 16th. graduation's the 18th of May, but I don't want to go to graduation because nobody's masking anymore, and I don't feel like going to a super spreader event. So basically, once I get my grades in around the 16th, I can leave. And the semester starts September 2nd. So I should probably also then get back a couple days before then. So probably we're looking at like, right after the mid of May to like mid end of August is like the thing is what we're looking at. So I'm gonna get like 6-7 months that I'll be able to just concentrate on writing. Let's see, and I'm hoping to go to Seattle. Is my hope. That would be, I would like to go to Seattle and get some, because I've got some stuff going on over there. There's also some research I can do there, so that'd be nice. That is my goal. Let's see. But if they let you get more certifications, you might go to the university. They can't let that. I know, but during my sabbatical, they can't stop me. We know the cast is going to be Alex Ward, I know him, Liam, Matt, Jasmine, Dawn, and Celia Rose Gooding. Oh. Interesting. All right, so I think we've got this volition test, but I don't remember.
Good. What can I help you with?
Where that test was. Let's just see.
All I know. It's an Oranese map of the
This is
waterways.
volume's too low.
It depicts the travels this man made while he was still alive.
That sounds better for me, by the way. What travels did the dead man make?
Vredefort, the Oranese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this.
Wait, what is that? I need my fake cigarette.
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
Celia Rose Gooding is the actress who plays Uhura in Strange New Worlds. Oh my gosh, that's a get. Cool. That's neat. And you said Jasmine Dawn, like not that bronze girl. No, yes, no? Yes, no?
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
We're in the money.
Oh my gosh. Atomica's here. Atomica just showed up and donated 100 bits, which, you know what that means. That means that I'm going to sing We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I'm going to sing it in Pig Latin. And then I have to tell you something. Don't let me forget baked oats. Okay? Don't let me forget that. Thank you, Atomica. Airway and hey, the anime. Airway and hey, the anime. Igway at gale at way at wakes to tit gale young way. Airway and hey, the anime. Either ice gaze or any say. Old me and the idiot pray, ooh, yare, ooh, dre, what's went wrong way, oh. Ewe ebony eat red landsley, elf wed brandsley, oot day. And we see the Anley Ord will look at the guy or needy eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. You know, there are some songs that I wanted to record that I never got around to for y'all. Like I wanted to record J'attendrai, which was what our youngin sang over in Kolos. I never got around to that, and I still want to. I'll just have to, I've got a couple of like old outstanding RPG songs that I wanted to record for you all, and I really should do that before things get wild. Thank you, Atomica. Not Jasmine Bular, no, not Broads. Jasmine Dawn works on Upright Citizens Brigade and was a script coordinator for The Legend of Vox Machina. Oh, Oh. Oh. Hey, I've been having deep thoughts. Before, in the copious free time, I was having some thoughts. I don't know if you heard this, but Pee Wee Herman came out posthumously. Like, he's dead now, of course, but he did a documentary, and the documentary is going to be coming out, and in it he comes out as queer, for the first time officially, right? And he was just talking about how before he did Pee Wee, he had been out, and then he realized that he really wanted to do this thing, but there was no way he'd be successful if he was out. And so he just did not allow himself to be seen in public in any way other than as Pee-wee. Like, who he was, Paul Rubens, just basically disappeared, and he only was Pee-wee. And I was just thinking about the ways in which people get erased and what kind of life that is, and the current political climate. Those are the things I was thinking about. You know how it is. Your college was a ghost town today. Yeah, I heard about him coming out. They absolutely would not have allowed Pee-wee's Playhouse if he was an out gay man. Absolutely not. No way. Absolutely not. Right? Like, at all. Like, nope. So, yeah. So, I mean, he wasn't wrong. Right? He wasn't wrong. But, just maybe think about it. And I don't know if they would now. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though it's still so many years later.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. Rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column. Patrol, case, vacation, injured. In Martinez, looking into Crenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
I will leave it be.
Is that all?
There is a test that we have to find from her. We will find it.
Is there
Tattoos.
anything else I can help you with?
Yes, there's a test that I would like to try again with you, but I just don't know where it is. We'll find it. I've been binging Blacklist, and he had a bit part for a few episodes in it. Oh, that's interesting. I've not watched Blacklist. Werewolf says, I saw it's wild to allow his memory to acknowledge his queerness, even though society couldn't whilst he was alive. I'm glad he did, but it's a bit an emotion, absolutely. Yeah, but also I was thinking about, yeah. Krellin says, yeah, and people still associate gay men with pedophilia even today. Gay women too, right? Actually, a lot of single men, yes. It's part of why men have trouble being in the caring professions, absolutely. So men in general, but also queer people, regardless of gender. But that's going back, right? Most of the big attacks against queer people in the 70s with, like, Anita Baker, sorry, not Anita Bryant and her, like, Save Our Children organization. It was all like the idea, like, that they would say is like, oh, queer people, they can't reproduce, they must recruit. And that was when you had all those attacks against queer people, regardless of their sexuality, regardless of their gender, being sort of laws trying to be passed to get them kicked out of teaching. Even goes earlier than the 70s, but like that was like, I suppose from the 50s onwards, there's been like a concerted sort of attack on queer people as being predators. Yeah. I remember that's, Harvey Milk was trying to fight that, like, law in California where they're trying to get passed, which would make it illegal for queer people to be teachers. There's a lot of that. Florida too. As a queer man, I am all too aware, especially if we're being honest, predators who want a convenient scapegoat. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a series of stories in the Chronicle of Higher Ed that I haven't been able to read it because I haven't had time, all about the anti-queer witch hunt that was going on in Florida, in the Florida education system, trying to find anybody who might be queer and then, like, get them kicked out. That was like in the 70s. this committee that was all sorts of stuff, right? I'm teaching queer pop this year, and we just finished the 1950s in class on Wednesday, and I believe we'll be doing the golden age of musicals on Monday. I don't remember what's after that. So I'm really thinking a lot about like the 50s, 60s, and 70s at the moment. So we've done the tattoos. Let's talk about. We're gonna just go through all of them. We've done them, but we're looking for the test. Let's see. Mr. Everett helped me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise. When I said be wacky, I didn't mean wildly, grossly irresponsible and damaging to the RCM.
Oh, sorry.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
It's true.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
Yeah, no need to flash my gun around. Let's just say that I have it now. Thank God.
Thank God. And indeed, Mr. Everett as well.
I probably shouldn't have told her that.
In this investigation, one may have use for a firearm. You wouldn't want to get caught with your pants down.
I feel like we should probably not be talking about this anymore. Yeah.
Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come up. Now, what else can I do for you?
The boat?
What would you like to know?
Do you have a license for this boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Oh, it's fine. That's good enough for me.
Why wouldn't it be? This is Revachol, Wayfair Act and all. Anyone can drive a boat.
Yes. Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
The word it feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name.
I'm not going to insist the boat has a name.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I like your slang. Also,
I'm
where's this
enjoying
test?
This part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Kim, we're just like easing
I
into
really
it.
do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
You know, let's...
Good.
So, the Wild Pines, what do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
Okay. Well, what do they do?
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort
There's a
of thing.
test, we've got to find it.
See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
Werewolf notes that Kim should have a sense of whimsy. He doesn't have a very good sense of whimsy. At least, or if he does, he hides it. Got it. Tell me
She
something
nods.
else. So I think the volition might be under questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite
Sure.
part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
Where is the test?
What world?
Yeah, I mean,
The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
Kim, says Krellin, is a guy with absolutely zero chill. Atomica says, I think there's a special place in hell for teachers who give group work. See, you know, Atomica, this is a very tricky thing because students often say they don't like group work, but then they say that we should be preparing people for employment, and you have to do group work. You have to work with other people when you're employed, depending on your job. And it's this thing where students like don't want to do things, but then when they graduate, they complain we never made them do the thing. You know what I mean? And it's just they're like, we don't like students are also like, I don't want to talk in class, but then they graduate and they're like, how come you didn't make us talk in class and make us get better at public speaking? You just can't win, really. Actually, tricky.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
I'm gonna say nothing.
Great bodies of water, forest-covered surfaces, clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
Vulpes says, Kim's sense of whimsy is his deep understanding of the absurd that is his partner, and his acceptance. Yeah.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
Oh, well, what is it?
Elysium.
Huh. Wait, is this the one with the evil apes?
Not in this case, no.
Oh.
That sounds more like something the Mesk petro-fascists might say.
Her gaze wanders.
The Confederate Republic of Mesk, the world's largest state by territory, has fallen into an especially nihilistic strain of nationalism lately.
Ooh, I won stuff. I love public speaking part. I hate the relying on other people who don't care about the project because it's not their major. Hello, House of Dreams. Yeah, and I think a lot about... See, here's one of the things that's really tricky, right? We have a bit of a rugged individualism problem and a lack of collectivism problem in our society, and I'm dealing with that right now at work, when everybody's only doing what they need to do for themselves and nobody's working together, and that makes it very difficult. And then some people are left holding the bag because other people are not going to participate. And so the question is it part of our responsibility to try to actually teach people how to collaborate and work with each other? Because if it is, then you kind of do need to do forms of group work, right? And actually, I had a really good, last year, I did a really good project where students did things individually, but also as a group. There was like a kind of like we did a group wiki, actually. Worked out really well. I have yet to like perfect the, there's a little bit of, what's the word? Aesthetic that I want to sort of fix up, a little templing, and once I get that done I can push it go live. But you know, I had them work together. Nobody's grade was necessarily dependent on anybody else, but getting people to understand that like collaborating with others and working with others is good, and looking out for people other than just themselves is also good. You know, it's something that, you know, hopefully, especially nowadays, I hope I can try to engender in my students.
It isn't enough to call us animals. Even animals aren't animals.
What are animals, then?
They're like you and I suppose. Living organisms don't identify with abstractions. Elysium is for particular beings.
Well, Elysium, the world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
Well, what is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I've got a clear picture. Let's proceed to another term.
Let's. I am, after all, bourgeois and female. Hardly the perfect ambassador for the world.
So here's the thing, right? There's a test that is in somewhere in one of these dialogue trees, and I do not know where it is, but I feel like we're gonna try to find it.
We're in Martinez, baby.
Baby?
Casual term of endearment, popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed.
Well, I'm a disco holdover myself, actually.
Aren't we all?
Oh, we are.
She refers to your corresponding ages.
And what is Martinez?
Martinez is a district of Revachol. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. It's not really.
See?
Yes.
We're trying to get
Known
through
to
this.
the early Rivisholians as vast,
It's fine.
lukewarm, and unknowable,
Okay, hold on.
flowing in and out of sight.
Tell me about another, perhaps even more fundamental aspect of reality.
I would be happy to. What is a preposterously expensive education for, if not sharing?
I appreciate that. Maybe acute encephalopathy, that might have been where our
It's
test was?
She conveys it in case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
Got it. Let me ask
Be
something
my
else.
guest.
I'm asking all these questions.
Nothing
What's the
more nor
RCM?
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia.
You said de facto.
Yes. That means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the RCM.
All three are good to know when we are out policing.
I'm going to avoid this subject.
Truly moralist of there's nothing basic yet. On the other hand, the post-revolution, they called it...
That's somewhat of an Revacholians.
We've
get to
gone
keep-
through this
Yes,
before.
Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol.
Thank
And
you.
if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help.
I do like her, though. I want to know what you are. Let's see. I don't know, Trooper. What if we live and work in a void in which my actions don't affect others? Because that's how the world works, you know, bootstraps. Thomas says, I don't deserve a B because some med school student decides to speak in front of the class reading bad information right off of a page in a monotone. Well, I don't feel like that's a problem with the group project. That might be a problem of grading. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are ways... although, I suppose one could say that maybe you do, right? If something needs to be done as a group and the group doesn't do it, what happens? Do you know what I mean? So I don't like bell curve grading. It hinders collaboration. I also don't like bell curve grading. I don't do it. Right? I'm aggressively sarcastic times. I'm so sorry. Don't even worry about it. House address. Apology accepted. I figured you were being sarcastic. It's been a life, let me tell you. I know what you mean. Yeah, I totally know. I don't know what I would really like or trust when so willing to aid the police. I don't know if she actually is, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like she's saying that, but I don't know if that's true.
I am the vilest of the vile. A
You know-
traitor. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Wait. What's an ultra?
An ultra-liberal. It's a
Oh.
type of liberal from the revolution. It's not the moderate kind.
Wait, what is... Wait, I don't understand. What's so vile about that?
Haven't you heard?
No?
I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution.
Ah,
We surrendered the nation to the financier pirates. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a man of the left. A true communard. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
it's really hard to say with her
In her
because,
green
like...
eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I'm just going to say, I forgive you, but only because you're charming.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
That dialect is ubi sunt. You recognize it's a quote from somewhere. A play written way back in the Franco-Nigerian century.
And persuades them to addict themselves to his service.
Maybe you remember more than you let on. Despite whatever brain damage the alcohol may have inflicted.
My goodness. I will nod. Devil
I'm
woman.
afraid you'll find that every woman is a devil woman, Detective.
What's going on here?
There are only aesthetic differences between one and the other. Honestly, I may have even preferred it, had the communards won. Who knows? They might really have built something better. But they didn't, because they lost. And when the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition.
Yeah, me neither.
Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
I agree with her.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Okay, go on.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
Oh, all right, Joyce Messier, all right. Nothing like a story of the horrors of what happens after the financiers take over, both in the story of the company that made the game and the real world. Yep. Yeah, it is an awesome dialogue chain, and you know what? Good for you.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps my intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
Maybe.
You're no dummy yourself.
So am I.
A smart boy getting smarter. One basic term of reality at a time.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife.
Intellectual
Shall we
vanity.
return to reality?
Now that's an evocative phrase. I love that. Let's see. What is this?
A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
Keep guessing.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
Are you saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I meant, what is this place here?
Ah,
Yes.
this is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot.
We've still not found this test yet, but that's okay. We will find it.
Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement.
She
Older,
is intense, this
beautiful
woman.
Tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade. Time to go feed my devils. Though, mine are both boys.
This
Fair
one
enough.
used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
To be fair, I tried to suggest trying a few different things, but my partners are all young, and they seem more annoyed at the project than anything else. I'm hoping they'll try, but I don't have my hopes up. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where you have to figure out how to create an assignment that will get people working together, but will not penalize people. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes it's just a bit more thoughtfulness, how to do it so that somebody doesn't have to do all the work and get only part of the credit, or vice versa, right? So like thinking about how to do a good group project that will encourage people to, you know, actually work with each other, but not punish people if it doesn't go super well, you know?
Splat, splat.
Oh, okay. It's the disco survivor in her.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
No, obviously that's what she's doing.
Wonderful. We're in Martinez.
No. I know that.
Martinez
No,
would be excused for not
that's
knowing
fine.
about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten. I would be happy to.
Okay.
What is a preposterously expensive educate the girl
What
in
is-
the old lady rags?
No, I meant something basic about reality.
Ah, yes. There's something very satisfying about discussing the fundamental facts of reality. Go ahead.
We've got to go
What
back in.
world?
The camera of her mind
Oh.
glides over the surface of the water.
Great bodies. There is
Did that.
Elysium.
Did that.
It does.
No.
Term of hatred
Yeah.
that originates. Let's.
Okay.
I am, after all, bourgeois and female.
We've got to go
Hardly
back
the
to
girl
Cindy the
in
Skull.
old lady rags.
Yes.
Looks like a sullen and yes.
Yes.
She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. I can't. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
I think I may be part of an infraculture.
And what would that be?
Disco.
I can see that, yes. I dabble in those dark arts myself, not so long ago. I assure you, it was a thoroughly supracultural phenomenon. All permeating. Downright mandatory.
Good for you. That's the thing. We are each assigned a section. I couldn't do the whole thing even if I wanted to. Well, that's good. Hey Ada, I once worked on a group project where we had the right to fire members from the group, and we did fire somebody. He had to do the project alone. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and also, I think House of Dreams is right. Having a discussion with your professor is not necessarily a bad idea. Now, it also at least might help them think about how to switch things up next time.
Nothing infra about disco, baby.
Your disco?
Those days are long behind me. And even in the early 30s, I would say I was more of a new girl. Disco was a minor, but still enjoyable facet of the whole thing for me.
The new?
The new. A cultural era. And the name of the decade it ravished, the 30s. It came out of post-revolutionary revival. It was ultra-liberal.
I really wish that we would get more things out of this world. Like, I really would like a book. I want an RPG setting book for this game. Like, this is such an interesting and cool world.
It involved lots of partying, as you might imagine, and champagne-colored everything. By the looks of it, that would have been when you came of age. Now.
She raises her eyebrow at me, and I say, well, sounds fun. I can't remember a single thing.
Wasn't it Guillaume Le Million who said, if you can remember the new, you weren't there?
Wait. Guillaume Le Million? I was just thinking about that guy. Whatever happened to him?
Ah, yes. This is not very central to reality, is it?
I know, but I still want to know.
I can't be 100% sure, but I believe he died due to complications from venereal disease.
Which one?
All of them.
Oh, so you're saying he didn't vanish in a puff of stardust?
I'm afraid no.
Oh.
But then again, one can't be entirely sure. It's all part of his mystique. Ask someone else and you may get a more champagne-colored take. Anyway, what other basic facets of reality should we discuss?
So...
Glad to have
That's
been
all.
of assistance. The little that I know. Anything
So-
else?
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the test, so it's gonna have to be either 5 or 6, I guess.
Of course.
Let's see. Where might we find
Mr.
this?
Clare told... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Huh. Wait, I'm gonna just say not cool.
Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the Union.
Werewolf says, yeah, if it's grading on you that hard, it's worth seeing if you can get some advice from someone who knows the students better at the very least. Yeah, I agree. That's Werewolf. I can't imagine how much world-building brainstorming it took to make this. So, Werewolf, Apparently, this is actually based on an RPG campaign that these anarcho punks who lived in a squat did for years, and they took that campaign and made it this game, and then it all went really bad with venture capitalists and whatnot. Volpa says, and while they may not realize it now, the med students will need to learn public speaking more than they know. Yes. What happened to this Gaumont?
Mr. Clare told him to fuck off,
Yeah.
midget. Keep in
No, I
mind,
got that. What are their
there
demands?
leaflets every worker.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
I like
You
it.
might also like their other slogan, demand democracy.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Personally, I don't think it has the same pizzazzo as every worker a member of the board.
Okay, but
It's
what
quite
is it?
simple, you see.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
The king is dead. Long live the workers.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start.
What are you going to do?
I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags.
Yeah,
A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
I know. But look, there is a...
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
Oh, yes.
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
I want to know where our test is.
This checks out.
Yeah. The scabs of the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled
No.
masses of Jamrock, come to plead
No.
for work where the union refuses to?
No.
Don't let her answer it herself.
Let's call them strike breakers. You put them there, right?
To answer your question, yes, they were organized by Wild Pines. The contractors picked them up from Jamrock and drove them over. This is standard practice. The company reserves the right to man its stations.
I see. Now, what do you think of Everard?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Oh, I understood the joke behind my name. That took me way too long.
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
That's Everard, all right. I don't think I've actually gotten this
He is the
conversation
most
yet.
corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
I remember hearing something about this Edgar.
Have you seen him?
No.
Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
What about the union itself outside of the Brothers Clare?
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that.
All right.
Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
She hesitates, looking for the right
A
expression.
mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Oh, it's all so messy.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
She turns to me. I feel like...
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Well, I actually think they're not great, though. You know what I mean? They're not a socialist mob. You've got people who are abusing the workers, right? That's what I'd say.
Indeed. And a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Sounds bad.
This forewoman, her name?
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't
Holly.
even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the Union's files.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you
I know.
ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
I will.
Thank you for your concern, man. We'll be just fine.
Okay.
Of course.
Last
How else
topic.
can I help?
She passes the thermal cup between her gloved hands.
Don't tell her you've met Everard right away. There's time.
Yeah, no. I believe let's talk about the lynching might be... Isn't it funny, the last one we
Of course.
pick?
Anything to help.
Okay, I'm hoping we can find the volition test in here. Otherwise, I don't even know where it is. Let's see. Bloodbath.
Yes. I'm
Since
Civil
you're
War?
sharing,
Then we're on the same page. As grim as it may be.
Lynching of the
I
strike?
have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not.
No, I didn't think
These
so.
mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
It's bad.
who are they exactly?
Yeah.
Prunell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
What happened?
the story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, he was taken out behind the work. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent
It's all really
military
bad, everybody.
tribunal into the lynching,
What is the nature of these?
whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
Boy, oh boy, that is not good.
It's not good. No.
No.
My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
That's bad.
Everybody have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, but...
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Seraï's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
Bad times.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
As I said, a bloodbath.
I can't see it happen. Too many things would have to go wrong first. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Lieutenant W. Frater Dubois. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Okay, so, look, there is a test in here that I want to find. Do we do
Not
Cornell?
much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however.
I like
the
this woman's voice
operations
actor.
concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Bad times.
Meaning they're used to operating in wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
I'm glad she doesn't like them either. Got anything else on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
She thinks.
If you still have access to the
did.
ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Yeah.
You know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, man.
Oh, interesting.
In
Interesting.
my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Fair enough. Could you contact the company, tell them to call them off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
Right. You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
This does not come as news to us, but still. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk. Maybe on narcotics, too.
There's more to this story, you know?
Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
I know the woman you're talking about. We have it under
Good.
control.
Then you've made progress.
It's true.
It's imperative that you move fast. The tribunal will not be patient.
Right. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
You don't know how you know. It's not written on her face, nor in her voice. But she had sympathy for this man.
You liked him.
Liked is a bit strong. He was the most charismatic among them. He handled all the talking. His departure left a major gap in the group's communication skills.
His name was...
Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the others first.
One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul.
Interesting.
Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
Interesting.
What would
Okay.
you say was his eye color? The deceased.
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face. Then shakes her head.
Can't remember.
There's a pang of regret in her voice.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
Interesting.
He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
Do you think we're going to find this test?
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction
I don't
saw
know.
on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own.
Fair.
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining 2 mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth.
There's this woman out there. We have
They
to find
don't
her.
have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Well, we still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Okay, well, still clear for the moment.
That's wise. Our goal is to avert catastrophe. Besides, you're likely to encounter them sooner or later.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress
Hey, Artie.
identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
My devil boys have eaten it, and I've also tried my first Popeyes. Oh, what did you think? First, what did you have? And then what did you think? In my experience, Popeyes have really great biscuits. That's what Popeyes are like. That's what I was like, oh, they're like their biscuits. But what did you think?
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
Werewolf says I'm a fan of their spicy chicken. There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
So that's enough for
I
now.
am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Can't find the test. You like House of Dreams likes Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Vulpes likes the chicken, not so much the biscuits. Everybody's got feeling about Popeyes. So I couldn't find it. So we had this test, but I couldn't find it. Awkward. Right? Maybe we can't do it. But there she is right there. I do not know how to fix that situation, because we went through, I think I went through everything, right? And I just don't think I found it. I've never had, Zaxby's. I think I might have had a Zaxby's when I was in Atlanta, and I think it was really good. Oh wow, my stance is the opposite. I hated the biscuit, didn't even finish it. The chicken was good. I think would have liked the spicy chicken more. I also had spicy Chinese food today and wasn't impressed, and I'm missing spice. I miss spice too. I think I've had Zaxby's in Atlanta. Filler biscuit is a location thing. Some places make them too dry. Oh, interesting. The biscuit was really dry. Oh. Huh. When I had their biscuits, I remember that they weren't, when I had them, they weren't particularly dry. I had honey. It was really good. They were moist, but they had a little bit of a bite to them that they weren't as gummy as KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken was kind of gummy, but that was a long time ago. Maybe they've just gotten really bad, So I couldn't find it. So that's awkward. I wished that I could have. That would have been nice, but I failed. I'm sorry. Let's talk to her.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Let's see. Krillin says, it kind of makes sense. New Mexico's a lot drier than Louisiana, so if they make the biscuits the same way in both places, the biscuits will be a lot drier here. That makes a lot of sense. That's interesting. This has been my thought, too. Vulpes says, I prefer their chicken for a fast food. Chicken is generally the least greasy. Yeah? Huh. So this I would really love to do, but my conceptualization, I can only do it once and I cannot retry it, so that's not great. So let's walk out of that situation. So here's the thing, y'all. I really feel like there is, what am I doing with my life? You know? I don't know. Wait.
The spread pattern of these bullet holes makes your chest ache. Your breath grows heavier. More old bullet holes, half a century at least, from the Revolution.
Let's examine closer.
You peer into the faded marks in the stone. They peer back like an endless row of tiny black holes. Sweat starts trickling down your brow. Your chest feels tight looking at them. It's closing in, caving in, ever tighter. Your breathing grows even
We're gonna have to heal. We only have one healing thing, but we're gonna use it right now. Oh, wow. It only gave us 1 health. That's not the best, but okay.
There?
Yeah. The lieutenant's sudden voice cuts like a blade, bringing you out of your stupor. Man, I started feeling really bad for a second.
Might be the after effects of your past escapades. What are you looking at?
These bullet holes look, like the bullet holes we saw before.
Bullet holes generally look the same, so probably. But you're right. More old bullet holes from the Revolution.
Yeah, man, how many people got shot during that revolution?
Plenty.
Might have got a thought there. That's, exciting. So, I have a question. Why are they, highlighting this right now? You notice we've got 2 things here? What's that one?
The door is closed again. Nothing to do here anymore. You hear someone inside, walking from room to room. Whoever lives here must be back home.
We could knock, but let's not. Again, there is something that we'll probably go back talk to that lady. But again, I just feel like there is something else going on. Getting the boots, that'll be later. Armor pieces later. Processing tattoos. We've got to talk to somebody else with the tattoo. But I don't yet. I want to find the radio operator. I would like to, got to join this reading group. And we've got to talk to the woman. Well, we're going to have to talk to Miss Disco Oranje. That's the only thing we got, actually. Because that's what we got. That's where we're at. I've got feelings. And those feelings involve something. I'm going to just talk to this guy for a second, just as I'm walking through before we go meet that woman. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, officer. What do you want?
Let's see. Allow this. Jack Astor says good chicken fingers if expensive, but generally if I want chicken fingers, I cook up the ones we get from Costco. Oh. Oh, hey, werewolf. Also, Artie, are you in Canada? You're in Canada, right? You're also in Canada? Artie and Werewolf are in Canada. All of my Canadians who are currently here, how do you feel about, becoming the 51st state of the United States? Is that like... And also, I think my question would be, like... Are we talking like the entire, all of the different... Like, we have, 13 provinces or something like that? Like, would all 13 provinces just be one state? That seems like... a lot to be just one state. That seems not very practical. How are you feeling? Like, it just feels a little bit weird for it just to be one state, that's all. But that's all. You're like, nah, you're good. So you're sure. Okay, I just wanted to double check that, you weren't really excited about it. Just in case. Just asking. So what I'm, Trooper, I didn't feel I could be nationalistic until this happened. It's concerning. Also, let's be honest. We'd be in non-voting territory. Well, no, he did say state, right? And state is different from a non-voting territory, so it looks like he's going to go full in with the whole state and everything. So look, we did try to get that thing from our friend Joyce, but we couldn't. So I think we're just going to go talk to our disco woman. It's going to advance the plot, I'm sure. But, you know, it's how it goes. Oh, and he's so trustworthy. Wait, werewolf? Would you... Do you think he'd lie? That's weird. Seems
Officer,
unlikely.
what brings you up here in the rain?
Oh, I'm going to leave this for a second, and I'm going to increase my volition. I don't know if that's a great idea, but my volition's pretty high. Volition, cool for sane people, well-adjusted cops, the non-suicidal. It urges you to be a good guy to others and to yourself. It enables you to resist temptation. And at high levels, it makes you hyper sane. When you're about to get funky, it keeps you normal. It's a bit of a party pooper. At low levels, however, you'll have little morale. Without it, you'll be profoundly unstable. So let's just level up our volition. Let's do that. And then if we do that, that means we can retry. We're going to save also. Quick save. And I think they just told us something. Oh, we must have gotten a new... I really wish I knew what that... Yeah, there she is. I really wish I knew what that test was. Maybe, like, I don't even know. Let's talk to her. Now, we can...
Officer, what brings you up here in the rain?
Let's see. Werewolf says, I believe him. He even said, we're cherished. What a deal. Ignore the blood, I'm crying. Or you might actually know what this is. I had a burger priest for a supper tonight. I have no idea what a burger priest is. Zanzibar says, from what I heard from another Canadian broadcaster, it had more of a unifying effect on Canada, if anything, which, you know, good on him. Good Canadians. Rissa says, as a citizen of a blue state, I'm all for joining Canada. There are actually petitions collecting signatures for whether California should secede from the U.S. So Crone's like, there have been succession petitions in California since the 60s. Rissa's like, yeah, but this would get it back in the ballot in 2028. See, like, I'm actually not in favor of that, mostly because, like, there's this thing where people I know who are super blue are like, let's just leave, right? Let's just go. Let's just leave. Who cares what happens to them, to those red states? But the thing is, there are people in Texas who did not vote for what is happening. And like, I would like them to have civil rights too. Like, I actually, that's the thing about being a collectivist, right? I don't want to take my blocks and go home. I want it to be better for other people too. I don't want to turn my back on those folks who really need help. And let me tell you what, like, I'm in a much better position in the state I'm at than some people I know who are in other places. And I want it, you know, I worry about them, and I don't want to just say, well, too bad for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to abandon people. Those are my thoughts about that. But that said, I just got a Onygeek. You just resubbed, saying, popping in for a second to say hi, Onygeek. Thank you so much. And to thank you for that sub, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. Or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B. Then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foam. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time. And there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Onygeek, but bunny geek, banana, fanner, for funny geek, fee, fi, my money geek. Onygeek, the name game. Yay, thank you so much. This woman is my favorite character. Yeah, she's got, like, she actually reminds me of, there was a woman who was a friend of my mom's named Sally. Like, so, you know, remember, we have to go back to the 70s, right? So this one really looks like this woman, Sally. Actually, my godmother. She looks like my godmother, Sally, who was a hippie, of course, from the 70s. Uh, yeah, that's who she reminds me of, Sally. Yeah. It is a local burger place, so yeah, I wouldn't expect anyone not from the GTA to know about it. Leaving is giving up on everyone stuck there in my mind. That's where I'm at, Zanzibar. Versus, I think seceding would be an absolute logistical nightmare, but definitely reject every damn thing this administration tried to force down our throats. Yeah. Uh, Billy? Wait, Bill! Billy! 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 I didn't even see you in there, Billy. Oh my gosh. Bill, Billy, Billy. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. I like Bob. Bob drop the B's, Bo, or Fred. Fred drop the F's, fo, red. Oh, Mary drop the M's, mo, airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Billy, Bo, illy, banana, fana, fo, thilly, fee, fi, mo, millie. Billy, the name game. Billy, don't you lose my number. Billy, don't you lose my number. I love you, Billy. I just need you to know that I adore you and I love you. Let's see. I expect to see the U.S. break up into 5 countries before I die. I doubt it. I just doubt it. People would lose too much money. Max says, okay, I need help. What is a movie or sitcom from before 1975
Name
that had
game.
2 female leads who do something like the Shamil Shamazel they do in Laverne and Shirley? Wait. Are you thinking of something, Max, that you know exists, or are you hoping that something like this exists? This is my question for you. Artie says, Werewolf,
Name
yeah,
game.
it is one of the few takeout things I have these days as my father gets a senior's meal from Boston Pizza on Tuesdays. Oh, we just got more. I'm going to say it. Let's see. Maybe that girl, but see, that girl didn't do a Shamil Shamazel. She was like running through the streets. Diamond Daisies, Sunshine, that girl. So she didn't do a Shamil, like you, and it's only one person. You need like 2, which means you need a sitcom from before 75 that had 2 female leads. And so yeah, no, it wouldn't be that girl, because that's only one girl. And so Max, are you thinking about something specific? Like, are you like, I remember one, and then you let's see, my week has been waiting for someone somewhere at work to tell us what to do regarding the demand that all health organizations retract papers referencing things like gender and pregnant people. And in my job, we're dealing with doctors all day long. Oh, that's so terrible. No, you're hoping something like this exists. At the end of the scenario, they took place in early 75. They did the Shamil Shamazel thing, the 2 surviving women, but Laverne and Shirley came out in 76. Yeah, the Shamil, no, that's just not going to happen. That, I don't think, yeah, no. Especially with like the actual Shamil Shamazel, I'd say no. I don't think so. And that girl was not, her character was not Jewish, so she wouldn't have done it either. No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people like the idea of breaking away, but never really think about the logistical issues with it. Yeah. The closest would be Mary Tyler Moore for her and Rhoda's relationship, but no catchphrase. Yeah. Ooh, by the way, I'm going to sing. I'm just thinking about this idea. Yeah, but those people losing money would be the South, who get carried by oh no, that's not what I mean, Atomica. I mean companies, big tech companies, big companies would lose money because right now that any kind of national or international company would lose money because they would now have to start doing trade tariffs. Like the minute we break into 5 countries, all of a sudden all that kind of free trade that has gone between the states would start being taxed and tariffed all over the place, and various car companies would not be doing well. Like basically none of the companies that we have would, oh man, and it would be really bad for a lot of people. It would be really bad for a lot of people. They'd be like, it would especially be bad for those people who do not have access to ports. Yeah, it would not be great. It would be pretty bad. Yeah, I think it would be bad. The people lose money with the South that gets care about everywhere else. Northeast would thrive on our tech and education. Midwest would farm. Texas would have oil. West would rely on entertainment. And the South would get stuck with Disneyland and their second cousins. The thing is, Atomica, the Midwest wouldn't have ports, right? The South has got some of the most major ports, like New Orleans. They've got access to the Gulf of Mexico. The South has got major agriculture. They've got a lot of stuff. Yeah, no, there would be. I mean, there's agriculture all over the country, but here's the other thing, Atomica, because of the New Deal, right? When Roosevelt was trying to go and fix stuff, almost all of our, like the vast majority of our military bases are in the South because the South needed help with their economy post Civil War and all that. So when it comes to military bases, we'd be losing a whole lot of military bases. So there'd be a lot of trouble with how to deal with that too. So it's not like the South doesn't have stuff. They would have all of the main training bases, all the big main, like it would be, ooh, let me tell you what, it would not be great. Not be great. Not be great at all. Not be great. Not the same words, just the same, we're two women and we survive together kind of a feel. Before 75 or earlier, ooh, I feel the same way about the folks who want to turn California into 2 or 3 states. We're much stronger together than divided, yeah. We'd have to renegotiate yet another trade agreement to establish free movement and trade, yeah. And that's not even talking about the family members caught on different sides of a border. See also partition of India and Pakistan. See also the partition of Germany. See also the partition of North and South Korea. See also the partition of, like, it's never really worked out particularly well. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as when young kids decide to run away from home. And the South has a lot of agriculture, and it also has a lot of military bases. Midwest is a few big ports. Chicago, Duluth. Yeah, Chicago, Duluth. Yep. It's just via the Great Lakes. Yeah. I'm thinking of using That Girl lyrics if I can find them. It's probably close enough. If you're looking for 2 women from 75 or earlier, I'm going to think, okay, by the way, I'm going to think, okay, we want 2 women from 75 or earlier in the media, either TV shows or films. I can think of single female lead shows like Maude, but that's 1 woman, not 2. Petticoat Junction had a bunch of women, but they don't really count because they weren't really given that vibe of the Laverne and Shirley vibe. You kind of want something urban. You want something like Working Girls. But if you want a pair of them, and like not teenagers, right? Oh. And the way out of those lakes is a river controlled by, well, my country, yep. Plus, the Midwest and the South have Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio River basins. Much better off than people would think. We're more than, I know that. I mean, New Orleans is the 3rd biggest port in the country. You know what I mean? Like, and also you have the entire military-industrial complex. It's like a big deal. And Atlanta's a massive and major airline hub. There's a lot going on there. And because Roosevelt spent huge amounts of money trying to rebuild the South post, during the Depression, so that it, because it, I can't imagine the Orange oligarchy being essential all the military bases in California. But also, Rissa, they also shut down a lot of military bases in California because the drawdown was happening under a Republican administration. So they generally drew down those military bases in blue states because they didn't care, because those blue states were not going to vote for them. So California's lost quite a few military bases over time, even ones that were like quite strategic. So there's a lesser number of military bases in blue states than in red states because of various political things. So again, problems times. And the nukes, right? The nukes. Yep. So if you need a catchphrase, see, now you want a catchphrase, so that's going to be even more tricky. Oh, yeah. So you want a catchphrase that they can say back and you want a catchphrase they can say back and forth between 2 women from 1975 or earlier. 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 1975 or Off the top of my head, I'm thinking there might have been something in Bye Bye Birdie, but of course that's not particularly like girl team spirit. You might have to go back a little bit earlier to something like The Women, 40s Women's Weepies, but probably not. You might want something like Rosalind Russell and Marilyn Monroe films. They might have had some back and forth going, oh, you know what you might want? Okay, this is not the same vibe, but what you probably want is actually Mame. And there's the song Bosom Buddies with Mame and Vera, and I'm pretty sure that's 60s because it was before the death of the musical. So you might want Mame and the song Bosom Buddies, and you can recall now, of course, they're being mean to each other. They're like doing a lot of shady insults back and forth. And that's you can think of the version sung by B. Arthur and Angela Lansbury. So that's like two women going back and forth with each other. So that one might give you something. Mame. Yeah. And that was a film as well as a Broadway musical. So Mame. I mean, the problem you've got, Max Rider, is that sexism meant that women didn't have a lot of space hanging out with each other in media. I mean, that's the whole reason why the Bechdel-Wallace test came about, right? It was a joke originally in a cartoon, but the idea of like in the Bechdel-Wallace test, these two, it was a comic, right? So fictional. Like woman's like, yeah, my test is, are there two women in a film that talk to each other about something other than a man? And that was from the late 80s, early 90s. And the thing is, many films still don't pass the Bechdel-Wallace test. So getting some kind of like gal pal buddy thing from before 75, it's gonna be tricky. Maybe Mame. Oh, I Love Lucy. Golden Girls. They're legal secretaries. They were the ones that survived. Golden Girls came way too late. Yeah, I Love Lucy kind of had Lucy with Lucy and Ethel, but they didn't really have catchphrases between them. You know. Yeah. That's the thing, though. With no money and 1/5 the recruits, how beneficial will those military bases be? Well, Atomica, if you have a lot of military and you don't have money, what you do is you start wars. That's what happens. Like if we broke into 5, those people with all of the soldiers, and also when it comes to recruits, when I was in the Army, I was one of the only people from California. We're one of the most populated states, but we don't tend to join the military so much. So they've got the people. They'll have a lot of militias. They're going to have a lot of people who are very well armed, very trained. They'll have all the bases, all the guns, all the tanks, all the drones, and they will not. And then if they have somebody who wants to increase morale, they will just invade other states. Is what will happen. You know what I mean? Like that's what people do. Yeah. Maude was the closest show that would have had a catchphrase, says Vulpes, and that's true. But yeah. But yeah, I don't think Lucy and Ethel had a catchphrase. Nope. Yeah, the catchphrase is from like, yeah. That was between Desi and Lucy. Doesn't have to be a catchphrase necessarily, but something somewhat common that would make sense. Otherwise, I might have to drop that moment or just make something up. They're both in their 30s. Plus, all the red state people don't actually look positively on the military. Depends on which one, right? Yeah. I'm sure where I'm at, we have Subs, Pendleton, Miramar, right? But they shut down almost everything in the Bay Area. All like the Presidio shut down, Oakland Army bases shut down, the Air Force. Like when it came down to shutting down military bases, they shut them down in blue states because it was HW who was doing it. It's it's one of those things. The movie Mame came out in 1974. Such a great song. It's so good. Yeah, people forget that actual rednecks are anti-government, not these Coors drinking Silverado drivers. The thing is, though, you can be anti-government when your area has no economy and the only way that your area gets money is because there's a military base there. Then you have you may not like it, but it's there and it's the only thing that's giving you jobs, right? Because I've been in some small army towns. So again, that's a complicated relationship. Heading up to watch the CR tailgate party. Nice. All right, I will see you. We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. So good. I feel bad for people who bought a Tesla when things were less fraught, but I keep seeing swastika is bandied about. Oh my goodness. The fact that it is such a ridiculously easy test to pass, and yet so many still fail it is so sad. It is. I'm probably going to stream around like 9:15 because there's the tailgate party for Critical Role. Yes. So, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like
Somebody's
it wasn't there.
watching me.
And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say Bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both, then say the name. I like Bob. Bob drop the B's, Bo, Ob, or Fred. Fred drop the F's, fo, red, or Mary. Mary drop the M's, mo, airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Barentor, 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 po, Erentor, banana, fanner, fo, Ferentor, fee, fi, mo, Merentor. Barentor, Clockwork Librarian.
Name game.
Clockwork Librarian, Clockwork Librarian, Clockwork Librarian, Bo, Blockwork Librarian, Banana Fan, Fo, Flockwork Librarian, Fee, Fimo, Lockwork Barbarian, Librarian, Clockwork Librarian, Vulpes, 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 Bopes, Banana Fana, Fo, Vulpes, Fee, Fimo, Mopez, Vulpes, the name game. Woo! Also, we got a new follow. This is the man I want to be in the future. Hello, resplendent blue tomato. Thank you for following, and as I sing for the follow, I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-pow. Whew. Thank you. Yes, let's see. Till he finishes talking to his... an 8-hour stream is a while to me. Oh, yeah. Hello. So they said they are breaking it into 2 4 blocks for their beacon service, but I think they're doing the whole thing for... Resplendent, how are you doing? For Twitch, right? So let's do some volition, shall we? Hopefully, we will win.
Soft, light brown eyes look back at you, directly into the space behind your eye sockets. You see the smoke rise from between her painted red lips. She's beautiful. I have bad news for you.
What's the bad news?
You know these guys?
Which guys?
Who? Me?
Yeah?
Yes, you. He's talking about you, you boring stiff.
Yeah?
You too.
What?
Me? What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? What's going on? Drama?
These guys are compromised. She's got them singing along to her tune. The little bleeps and bloops you trust for info, you can't trust them anymore.
What? What?
Believe it.
Okay, wait. Which ones exactly are affected?
There's no way of knowing. At the moment, I'm afraid it's best to assume.
Assume what?
All of them.
All the voices in my head are... Okay. Femme fatale business right
Bullshit,
here.
Man. I ain't compromised.
Uh-huh.
Especially that guy.
Yeah,
That
obviously.
guy's the most compromised one.
Most
anyway.
compromised. That's right, this guy's the most compromised. For live, yes, the whole thing. Whew. Which is, why not separate them into 2 4 blocks for Twitch too? 8 hours, that's a job. Oh, I love Disco Elysium too, and I'm trying to get Harry to be less of an alcoholic. He's dry right now, but you know, he needs some help.
No fucking way, man. I just want a drag of that sweet menthol
Nope.
Ziggy.
Compromised.
Really? Quick. Tell me what's under her jumpsuit. Glory, truth, softness. Protect her. She wants you.
Compromised. Yeah, how did this happen?
How it always does. through subtlety.
Okay, but what can I do?
There's nothing you can do about it. You are how you are, and she is how she is.
No.
Things will go as they do.
No. Can't you turn them normal again?
No.
What use is this then?
It's better to know you're being played than to be played without knowing it, is it not?
So does this mean that she's been lying to me?
I think it's safe
Yes.
to assume.
Yes.
Mr. Thespian here hasn't been speaking up. If he were, I suspect there would be paeans to her truthfulness. Like this.
Go ahead.
She is a lady, most fair and just.
Stop it, drama. We are talking to a...
In his defense, to reduce him to such inadequacy, she probably had to employ half-truths more often than outright lies.
Fair enough. But what if volition is actually compromised? See, here's the thing. I have read pulp crime novels. There's one just right over there. And this never works out well in those sort of things. The detective is usually, it's not a good, it's bad. It happens. It's very bad things. Very bad things. Carlin says, they started filming it the day of the fire, so for them, it was 2 days separated by some time. They changed clothes at the break, but they decided they just wanted to let it ride. I have not played through this game before. I am unspoiled completely, and this is my first playthrough. It takes us a while to get there. This is also a fake cigarette, but I'm enjoying the ride so far. Oh, Resplendent Blue Tomato's like, oh my good, uh-oh. Okay, well, Resplendent Blue Tomato right now knows something that I don't know and is very excited about it, which makes me excited to find out what it is that I'm going to find out that I don't know what it is.
That is correct. And omissions too.
Can I trust that guy?
A little. They're all still of limited use, interpreting things to the best of their ability. Maybe they add flair or something. I wouldn't know. I don't add flair.
Volition, I understand you.
But when it comes to assessments of character and factual accuracy, they are not to be trusted. Not
Okay.
with her.
Can I trust any of them ever again?
Don't be melodramatic.
Oh.
You can trust them,
Sorry.
just not with her.
Got it.
A light green speck and imperfection on the outer rim of her right iris. It
Oh my goodness.
sparkles.
Stop it. What is her plan?
You can't draw a sound conclusion. The one who usually does says, she may want to control the information rollout, not to become a suspect. She may have a past she's escaping, unrelated to this case. You doubt it's something truly insidious.
I can't trust you, Logic, because you just got out the window.
See? It's oddly moderate, probably compromised.
You're right. I've been talking to myself long enough. Let's get back to it.
Don't worry. It's only been 4 or 5 seconds. You've got this.
All right. I'm gonna not say anything. Oh, what if I say? Should I say it out loud? Ooh, let's do it. Let's just be bold. So, Miss, are you manipulating me?
The silence broken. She exhales a little cloud of smoke and says,
God, no.
I don't know what I expected. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't expect her to like just, yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so let's start with 4. So Titus Hardy gave us a recording where the deceased states his intention to commit rape.
she puts her coffee cup down with a soft ring as the porcelain meets the metal table.
Perception.
This does not surprise her.
Did he? I never
Sm-
said he was a good man, or that he had good intentions. Only that he was never bad to me.
A smile flits across her face. On this tape, he specifically identifies you as the target.
Where did they get this recording exactly?
It's a good question. Anageek says, the one thing I love about this game is that I have watched it played so many times and I don't remember anything. So, I'm going to tell you, because we only got like 15 minutes, right? In the book Grifter's Game, which was originally called Mona, which is a pulp crime novel from like the 50s, the protagonist is this con man, and he's the best con man there ever is, and he never gets caught, and he always can see through everybody's business. He tells you this at the beginning of the book. And his big main con is that he goes to, like, he comes into a city at the train station, he steals luggage that is like really, really expensive, and he goes to the most expensive hotel. He checks in under a false name with the most super expensive luggage. And then he puts everything on the tab. And the thing is, the super expensive hotels, when they see you with a super expensive luggage, figure that you're really rich. So they're not going to ask you to pay for things up front. And as long as the luggage stays in the hotel, they're not going to ask you to pay out. So, he just goes, lives it up, charges everything, and then he skips out, leaving the luggage because it wasn't his in the first place. So he steals the luggage, takes it up to the room, he opens the luggage, and there's all this heroin in the luggage. And he's like, oh no, that seems bad, probably bad. And he's sitting at the pool at the expensive hotel trying to figure out what he's going to do because he's got this, like, a bunch of heroin in this luggage that he stole, and that seems like a bad idea. And out of nowhere, this really beautiful woman, like super beautiful woman, walks by. He's wearing, I think, like the robe that was in the luggage. There was like a nice robe or whatever. And she walks by, she sees him, she's like, oh, you seem interesting, just randomly. Let's chat. So they're chatting. Then, like, she, like, falls madly in love with him just coincidentally right now. And he's like, yeah, I know it because I'm just so great and I'm such a good judge of character. Of course she's going to fall madly in love with me. And I was like, oh, God. And then she's like, they just start, like, dating, kind of like having, and then she tells him her secret that she has a husband. She's married. But also she tells him that she's really worried about her husband because her husband frightens her so much. I mean, he's just so violent and terrible, and she just has no idea what to do about her husband, who is kind of like a mobster, and maybe he deals heroin, I don't know, and she's just so afraid. But she loves this guy that she met just, like, briefly, she just loves him so much, and she just wishes that she could be with him forever. It's just that her husband is just right there in the way, and she's just so small and frightened, and she has no idea what to do. If only he might have some idea about what to do about her very, very rich and also dangerous heroin-dealing mobster husband. She just has no idea, and he's like, what if I kill your husband? And then she's like, what? That never would have occurred to me. I had no idea. And then the guy's like, because he's like, that's right, I thought about killing her husband. It was all my idea. And of course you would never have thought about it because she's such a sweet angel. But I'm like the best con man ever, and I know, and I can do it. And you're like, oh my goodness. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go and kill your husband. And then she's like, okay, if you think that's a good idea, but what happens after the murder? I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous. He's like, don't worry, I got this. After the murder, you and I shouldn't talk to each other for a while. We'll just, like, not talk to each other so that no one will get suspicious. And then after a couple of months, so you'll just collect all of the money, and then after a couple of months, we'll get back together. She's like, okay, if you think that's the way. Let me tell you what, it didn't work out well in the end. I'm just telling you it didn't work out well. That's all I'm saying. Right? Like, I'm just saying, guess what? Yes. She was manipulating him. Surprise. It didn't work out well for anybody.
It's
It was a good book.
intercepted radio chatter of the deceased, recorded via a de-encryption station. It's authentic enough.
It was a
Does he
thing.
say he's gonna do it Soldier of the Apocalypse style?
Those are the exact words he used.
Yeah. That was practically his pickup line.
She picks the cup back up. What? What? Shocker, says Resplendent Blue Tomato. I'm just saying. Oh, man. And, like, the whole time you're reading the book, you're like, dude, you are not nearly as smart as you think you are. Wow. And, like, that's what's so fascinating about reading books from the 1950s, those pulp crime novels, is the protagonists are just not that smart. They just really, really think of themselves as being way more competent than they are, and they are not. And you, as the reader, are watching them and hearing their inner thoughts, and you're like, wow, this is not going to work out well for you. I'm not quite certain how it's not going to work out well for you yet, but I know it is not going to work out well for you at all. And then it doesn't. Like, that's how those books go. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Sounds like it might have worked out. Did he? Oh yeah, he killed the guy. He killed the husband. He did it. And then of course he had to lay low. And so she got all of the money, and nobody thought she did it. And then he decided later to come and find her, and they would resume their affair. And then she's like, I don't know you. And then it got really dark because it turns out 1950s books are way darker than you think they were. The 50s were not nearly as Ozzy and Harriet as you would think, as it turns out. I don't know if she wanted to take over the racket or was just feeding the guy to her husband. Oh yeah, no. She wanted all the money, and she didn't like her husband, right? And well, it turned. Oh man, I'll tell you what. I was like, oh, it's from the 50s. It'll be fine. Wow, the ending was dark, dark. Woof, oof.
Did he say whores a lot?
Yeah.
Was he pretty much on the verge of doing it Cohoy style?
Cohoy was mentioned, yes.
He wasn't actually there. He didn't do a tour, or at least didn't tell me he did. Would have been overkill anyway. He lived his own little Cohoy. It wasn't his everything.
Why say things like that, machismo?
Yes, was he bragging?
Thank you, Ten.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he did all those things. Then integrated them into his idea of normalcy. To keep on living. Until they just sort of turn into his, what's the word I'm looking for?
Persona?
Running joke. I was gonna say running joke. And it sounds like you didn't even get the good bits. Lely's punchlines got way, way funkier than that.
Huh.
He was like the Seminoles conflict, the Cohoy massacre, and the 36 famine in Yezud all rolled into one person, then cast in Oranje ceramic armor, which he wore in bed and in the shower.
Whoa, okay. This guy needed therapy. Atomic says, I think my favorite part of that era was a lack of concussion knowledge. I remember listening to radio shows where the protagonist got knocked out with a hit to the back of the head every single episode. And then you wondered why people were maybe not doing so well, you know? Yeah, in the end, this is what I will tell you what happened after we finish the conversation.
When he said he was done, and done mentally, it didn't sound like a joke. It sounded like a deeply troubled man.
Hold on. Hold on. You said he was mentally done. That sounds like a broken man to me.
Well, maybe I pieced him back together with my magical personality.
The tailgate thing started. We got like 7. Weren't you afraid?
Afraid of what? That tape the Hardy Boys recorded? Your mother probably never told you this, but girls are evil.
Yeah, Volition told me that, actually.
Had
Yeah.
I the physical robustness and social support, I'd be in Cohoy. I would be tearing it up Soldier of the Apocalypse style.
Wow.
Did he tell you he had actually done any of those things? He and Martinez, I mean?
No. We were too busy laying waste to our own nervous systems to direct any of the fury outward. He seemed happy, I guess. At ease. As much as a man like him could be.
Artisan Saxon knows about the concussion. I think that's true for Hitman as well. Yeah, I hit a lot of people in the head with crowbars, and they're fine.
What kind of man was he? Before you go, ask
Yeah.
the details. She
Yeah.
seems okay to talk about it.
All right.
Thank you for clearing that up, miss. Whenever you're ready. I'm interested to hear what Titus Hardy has to say now.
This is quite the pickle, isn't
She
it?
takes a very small sip of her coffee and smiles.
Well, now that you've had some time, can you tell us more about the victim?
Like, for example, his name?
Yeah.
Actually, officer, I didn't know his name. I just called him Lely.
A nickname?
I guess. He came from Lelystad. It's short for that. And it was his army name, apparently. He said his real name wasn't his. I tried to pry it out of him, but it was no use.
What's going on here? Yeah. So, I will tell you.
Lily.
We fit a conversation first.
That's a good start.
Got a new name?
We have a few questions you can help us with. A few things a field autopsy alone can't answer.
The lieutenant writes it down in his notebook, and he tears out a page and he hands it to me.
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page the lieutenant passed to you. On it is a list of autopsy observations, recorded neatly in blue ink. The last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
Ooh, we might actually get a really important piece here, so we gotta finish this. And then I will tell you what happened in that book, let me tell you, it was dark. I was like, wow, the 50s were not nearly as bright and shiny as people thought they were. Where is Lelystad, the place, I mean?
In Oranje, officer. It's, I think municipality is the term. A nowhere town there.
The Lelystad municipality has few boroughs and even fewer cities. It's made of agricultural plots near the border of Gottwald. Executive summary: cows, silos, and wheat.
I might go a little over 9:15. I can't go further than 9:30, though, because we got to go, and I got to grab food.
Oranje's map of waterways. This fits with his tattoo.
True.
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
Oh. Okay. You were both from Oranje?
Yes. We were compatriots.
Interesting.
Did that bring you together?
No. He was too old for that. And from another part of Oranjenrijk. I didn't even understand his accent. What brought us together wasn't Oranje. It was bad habits.
So, how old was he, miss?
He was 42.
Ooh.
42?
Speaking of books.
Are you sure? I would have had him above 50.
When are we going to get another reading of Atlanta Nights? I've got to figure out when we last left off.
He had many scars that made him appear older. But no.
The memory makes her smile. What is happening here?
We
There's a
even
mystery.
celebrated his birthday like some weeks ago. It was a funny 2 days. He had little reason to lie to me.
Looks like you were right, officer.
Yeah. How close are we to leveling up? The lieutenant taps on his notebook once, as though assigning some kind of point.
Points aren't good. Have one, you old dog, before we all die.
Hey, I just leveled up my health. That's great. I should give myself a bit more on like the physical fitness points. I'm not gonna mention it.
The young woman looks at you, then the lieutenant, then you.
Valtiel says, the design of the antenna are so cool. I'm just now appreciating it. I know. This has got such a real sense of like real place,
She's
you know?
clearly sensing something. A spike in testosterone levels, perhaps.
What was his eye color?
Blue. Light blue. They were like little blue galaxies, you know? It was strange, seeing those eyes in his fucked up face. Pardon the swearing.
That's...
I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a beautiful, soft voice. Very surprising, what with all the scarring. It was quite something, watching him speak.
What happened? Now I have a whole different idea.
He
Something
had
else is going
combat
on.
wound on his chin and mouth?
Yes. Severe. It made him look like half his face was cracking away in some strange smile. That and those eyes.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember?
Did you ever see, any of you ever watched the movie Fahrenheit 451, the one from the 60s? It starts off with all these antennae, and the antennae are like, the way they look is pretty amazing. I
It
still
was
remember
light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made it oily. Not nice to stroke. I couldn't convince him to leave it alone.
He had a tattoo. What did it mean?
Oh, that.
Oh, it was a map of Oranje's. It was an Oranje's map of the waterways?
Sure, waterways. It was mostly for showing off to chicks, though.
For showing off to chicks? How so?
How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish musculature laid out on the sheets. Scarred, of course. Tattooed. The sheets are dirty for some reason.
Go ahead.
Is this Oranje's lit?
I'm gonna not interrupt.
He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms are studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them. Maybe even thousands. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?"
She points at the air with her sharp-nailed finger, picking out an imaginary tattoo star.
And he says, That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that. So she goes, okay, but what's this, baby? And he's like, saw some bat shit there. Killed some loincloths.
Krellin says, I watched the 66 Fair 451 in high school as part of my English lit class. We watched the film and read the books and made comparisons. Yeah. Right. Like, I just remember like the amazing images of like all the antennas, and that makes me think of
And
it.
so it goes. Star after star, port after port,
So after
third
service.
world country after third world country. And he's done horrible things in every single one of them.
He's a bad boy. You were the woman in this.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna finish the conversation. Can you tell us precisely what these mean? Now we'll hand her the photo.
No, thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell you what they meant without looking at them.
She pours herself some more coffee.
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Oranje needed some people killed, so they turned him into a grotesque killer. For money. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people in the Seminine Islands. And on other islands, too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol and got killed himself.
Not a very fun story.
It is when you're high. It can be very exciting then. You have the tools to deal with it. It's not a very nice story to remember when you're sober. A change of topic?
She smiles faintly. We ordered a toxicology report. Any idea what that will show us?
A real rainbow splattering of pharmaceuticals, I bet. Barbiturates, amphetamine, sildenafil. How much does the toxicology report cost the police of Revachol? I can do it for half of that. Save you some money, make some myself.
It's quite expensive, miss. But we'll manage without your help for now.
I'm not going to say the thing about the communism killing him because I'm a communist art cop. Well, I think we finished this line of questioning.
All right.
The lieutenant puts the slip back in his notes and observes a young woman for a moment.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
Almost done. So let's talk more about this so-called assault.
Not my favorite topic, but okay.
Yeah, so you are sure you weren't raped?
I'm 89% sure.
Does that mean you're 100%, 11% not sure? So you're not entirely sure. Is that there?
You know how it is.
Do you?
Actually, I don't.
Maybe you don't.
The ash lands in our jumpsuit. She brushes it off.
There are numerous cigarette burns on those silvery scales. Easy to see now that you're closer.
See you, werewolf. Go walk the dog. We'll see you later.
In conclusion, officer, I'm gonna go with a mild to medium not raped here.
We're almost done with this conversation. We got to figure it out before we go. I don't feel like the serious matter is going to happen with her. She's in her space. I'm just going to say no one deserves to be raped.
I'm sure there is one person in the world who does.
No.
I mean, there are so many people. But let me make this clear. The man who was hanged from that tree did not rape me.
Okay. Well, thank you for telling us all of this, miss.
How about we, change the subject to something more lighthearted now?
Let's return to this later, miss.
Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was 42?
That's what she said, yes.
Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen indignity of mortality. He was 42 years old?
Yeah, where is this going?
How old are you? That's where this is going. 45,000 liters of raw alcohol has left its disfigurements. What lies beneath, you wonder? You could ask either one of them.
Hey, miss, how old do you think I am?
How old do I think you are?
It's probably a bad idea asking her, but
She's buying time to formulate the best answer. Look who's finally awake.
I don't know. 40? I was like 9 when OO peaked. That was what, 19 years ago? I liked them when I was 9. You couldn't have liked it when you were 40. Let's say you were 20-something. 25. A good disco age. 25 plus 19 is 44. I'm gonna say you're 44.
she's a good guesser.
Wow.
I'm going to say, wow. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I have a university degree, you know?
She flicks ash from her cigarette. 44? I'm young.
Absolutely. Age is just a number, man.
Yeah.
Yes, miss, but for him that number is 56.
Oh, Kim! Kim!
Wait. This requires scientific measurements.
Bring it on. I'm not afraid of the truth.
To the laboratorium.
Oh, I have a new thought. Okay. All right. Well, we can deal with that later. I think this is the end of our conversation, more or less. I'm gonna just check in with Kim, and then I feel like we can go.
Yes.
Nothing there. So let me just look at our thing, because we actually have learned a lot, and I wish I could improve my physique, but it turns out I can't. Turns out that is I'm at the maximum of my physique. So that's not great, I guess. Well, yeah. Sad times for me. Well. Trooper, you need to really just save. I'm gonna just save and go. That's it. I'm leaving. That's it. I'm going. We're leaving. That's it. We're going. I don't know what else we have to do. Oh, hold on. I want to be able to hit my mind. Talk to Titus about the Door Gunner Megamix. Okay, so that is the next thing we have to do, is talk to Titus. And I actually think we're gonna save and level up, right? We're gonna put ourselves right downstairs so that we can know where we're going, because I think it's important to set ourselves up for success next time around. All right, so I'm Trooper SJP. And thank you all for being here. This is what's what. I'm going to tell you where to find me, where we can go, all that business. So here's the story. You can find me at Trooper SJP on YouTube, where there's like the, what do you call it? The archive of the stuff. You can find me at Trooper SJP on Blue Sky. You can find me at Academic Foxhole on Patreon, which goes to help pay for the cast of the RPGs I run, or on Fourth Wall for merch. And let's save. And we also have a Discord. You can hang out with us. For example, we are going to be watching Critical Role. And if you want to hang out and chat with us, because our chat does not have 20,000 people, as far as you know. And that's like all of the goodness right there. The other thing I wanted to tell you, there was one other thing I wanted to tell you. Oh, where you can find me next. Today is Thursday, so tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, here on this channel, we'll be doing... we'll be having our second session where we run into level 4 of 2d6 Dungeon, where I play Testacles the Ballsy in our solo RPG. And then on Saturday at noon, you can find me here playing Hitman. And then on Sunday at 3:30, you can 3:30, I think, you can find me over at House of Dreams for part 2 of the 4-shot of Wanderhome, A Season's Oath. Those are all the places you can find me this week. And then run around again. And I'm working on a little bit of stuff to make 2d6 Dungeon even more exciting, because that's what I like to do. And I think that's all the stuff. Oh, one last thing. What happens is this. He realizes that he was played by her the entire time, so he wants to figure out what he can do. So what he does is he kidnaps her and then gets her strung out on heroin, so she's addicted to heroin, so that she will never leave him, because he becomes the person who provides the heroin for her. So she's now addicted to heroin and she will never leave him. But then the whole book ends with him looking at her going like, when she's high in heroin, she seems so happy and like so far away from this place. And like, I should probably also start doing heroin so we can be closer together. And so, of course, the novel ends where we know it's only a matter of time before he decides to get addicted to heroin too. So then they're just both addicted to heroin. That was the end of that book from the 1950s. And we're going. We're leaving. I will see you. Okay, Trooper, I'm not playing Fairy Parents tomorrow, so I'll see you for Testocles. Going to the pre-show. All right, we're going. Thank you, everybody. And I'm heading out. Thank you so much. And I will see you either, in our chat for some Critical Role end of this season 3, campaign 3, or I'll see you tomorrow or the day after. Take care of yourselves, everybody. And much love. And I will see you all later. Bye.